Okay, so I'm going to be taking us through a short passage this evening. We're going to be in Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. I'm going to go ahead and read the passage, and we'll get into the teaching. Starting in verse 1, Isaiah chapter 6. The year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called to the other and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the thresholds shook, and the voice of him who called, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, for I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. So, after reading that passage, if there's one thing that you can walk away with tonight, if there's one thing I could get kind of just hammered into your head in a nugget of truth, is that our encounter with the glory of God reveals his holiness and exposes our sinfulness. We see that as Isaiah has this vision in the throne room of God, he becomes very aware of the holiness of God and being surrounded by his glory. But simultaneously, he becomes very acutely aware of his sinfulness. And so I would say, from that truth, it should weigh heavy on our hearts on the fact that every single human being will have to stand before this holy God in all his glory. Everyone. No one gets away. Believer and unbeliever will have to stand before this holy God in all his glory. So what do we do? Well, first off, we need to come to a biblical understanding of who God is and who we are. You notice that when Elijah saw God for who he truly is in all the fullness of his glory and holiness, bam, something snapped. Isaiah, prophet of Israel, who was called to take the message of God to the people of God, became very aware of his sinfulness. And it caused him to utter this acknowledgement of that, like a repentance almost. So we need to come to a biblical understanding of who God is and who we are. Also, when we come to a biblical view of God and ourselves, we will see that the only remedy for our sinfulness is the grace and mercy of God. We know that we cannot stand before this holy God with our own righteousness. He will literally strike us down because of our sinful nature. So we need a righteousness that's not our own. We need a righteousness that's perfect. So our only remedy is the grace and the mercy of God.